Well, hello everyone. My name is Anhrez. I'm part of the Crowfall community, and going to take a little bit of time today to kind of walk through the concept of necromancy. It's one of the many professions that you can have an option to choose from within Crowfall. Necromancy here in Crowfall is all about the crafting of a vessel. So we're going to talk a little bit about a vessel first, then we're actually going to equip a vessel and take a look at the differences that you see. And then the last thing we're going to do is actually craft. I want to do it a little different. I want to actually talk about necromancy. I want to show the impact of necromancy. Then we'll actually show how to actually craft. Because I think once you see the impact and the value, deciding to spend your time crafting a vessel in Crowfall will become like, yeah, I got to get me some of that. When you drop into Crowfall for the first time, you actually create your character. You choose from the races, you choose a class, you do all this piece, right? Think of it as like you're dropping into a space game or something like that, and your vessel is truly your vessel. It's like a ship. So the interesting part of Crowfall is that your character, your experience, your gaming experience is built of a bunch of pieces. It's not just one thing. You're made up of your passive training. So in Crowfall, if you've not taken a look at your passive training, there is an awful lot here to look at. You get to choose an awful lot. This passive training goes with you regardless of your class, regardless of your race. This passive training is you. This is the choices that you're making. Another part of your experience is equipment, the sword that you wield, the armor you wear, and just like that, your vessel. So first things first, let's take a look at these stats. So I created, and again, I'm doing this just because I want to show the impact, the difference, right? So here I created a level 1 Ganetian duelist. But let's take a look at the stats. So the stats here is at level 1. So when you level up your character, you'll actually get to spend more stats, right? As you get more higher and higher in levels, you can choose, hey, I want to raise my dex, I want to raise my strength. But this is the default. So level 1 on the free vessel that you get when you drop in the first time, this is what I get. 110 dex, 20 strength, 60 int, 30, 28. We look at the details, a couple of the other stats that we'll take a look at real quick. See here, I've got my health at 5224. And more importantly, because I'm a combat class and I like to use my rapier, I like to use my gun up close, critical chance, my critical healing chance, I'm not a healer, but I can be healed. But more importantly, my critical strike is 12%, my critical damage 126%. Let's do a couple of hits. So here's a basic attack. So I sat here and tested it out. My range is 32 to 42-ish. I'm somewhere in the middle. Occasionally you'll see a crit. I'm going to pop out and come in on a new crafted vessel. So you can take a look at the difference between the gift with purchase when you drop in versus something that was crafted for me. Let's take a look at the stats different. We'll take a look at the combat difference. We'll talk that out, and then we're going to actually go in and craft something. But I kind of wanted to show you really quick the first, why should you even pay attention? Well, you should pay attention because it's very impactful. So I'm going to create a new character. It's going to, again, I'm making a Ganetian, but see, I have a vessel that was crafted that I put into my spirit bank that I can use. It's white level. Now, I crafted it on a god-skilled necromancy. But, I just wanted to show the difference. So I'm going to equip it. So this is to let you know how you do this. So now, instead of getting the default vessel, when I create my Ganetian, I'm going to drop into this amazing vessel. Let's drop him into the exact same place. Now, he's got the exact same passive training that the character that I was just on. Remember with the stats like 110 dex, 20 strength, 60 int. So we're going to drop him in real quick and let's look at his stats. So here is the difference. 219 dex, 53 strength, 100 int. And so when I get into the details and I look at these combat pieces, first of all, just about an extra 200 health. That's a couple of hits. But look at these crits. An extra 10% chance of crit. And when I do crit, I'm going to hit for even 5% more. And that's with crappy equipment. I mean, this is the crappiest equipment that you get for free. That's not even adding on the amazing weapons and armors and stuff that I can use. So I would suspect that 36 looks to be... See how that 54 is considered regular damage, not crit damage? So that looks like my top end is probably ranging now 36 to 54 versus, 32 to 42. So, but back out to your concept of leveling a vessel. So let's go through again. We'll go through and let's move this vessel up one level. I'll show you how to spend the stats, and then we're going to pivot into actual crafting. But here's an interesting mechanic. It's called sacrificing. So Lord of the Shadows. So here's my funny thing I'm actually going to take this because I can't use it. I can't use this Great Axe of the Minotaur because I don't use those things. So I can actually say, screw this thing. I'm going to burn it up to the gods. And by sacrificing it, I'm actually taking it out of play. So if you're an econ loop person like me, you break down the entire game into sinks and faucets. So the concept being is I go out to that war tribe, they are a faucet. They bring me gold. They bring me materials. They bring me items that I can sacrifice. They bring me equipment that I can use, and they can use gear, right? Weapons and armor. Now I could use those. I could give them to a guildmate. I could try to sell them because we actually have a very robust merchant program, or I can sacrifice them to the gods, and when I do that, I actually take them out of the econ loop, right? And so it's interesting. So Crowfall is actually paying you with a little bit of experience for vessels if you take things out of the econ loop. See, my vessel now is level 2. I give, because I'm level 3, I get to spend talent points, and I get to spend 3 points in any stats that I want. That works its way all the way up to level 30. Your question was about an orange level vessel. So this is a really amazingly crafted white vessel. An orange vessel will even be better than this. So you have to decide, well, am I going to use this vessel that I'm in right now? The ship that I've got, this vessel. Am I just going to use this one, level up to 30, and then go out into the world? I'm going to kill some people. I'm going to get killed. I'm going to have some fun battles. I'm going to gather some materials, earn some gold, and then use that to maybe get even a better vessel, kind of like flipping a ship in Eve, working your way up to a larger ship or a grander ship. But on the other hand, if you spend all your time just flipping from ship to ship to ship, you don't actually get much time to get that ship out there and fly it and play it. And so I think it's going to be interesting as Crowfall becomes more and more, is that vessels make a difference, but they don't make all of the difference. So vessels and your character levels are two different things. Yeah, so your vessel is just the base ship. It's your ability to bring in all these extra stats into your thing. But when you equip a new vessel, it starts at level 1. And then that level 1 orange, to be honest, a level 1 orange may not be as good as a level 30 purple vessel. But a level 30 orange vessel should probably be better. You know what I mean? So you have to determine, how much time and effort and resources you're going to try to keep flipping and getting better and better vessels. So real quick, let's take a look. Here's some details. If I go through and update my constitution, how sturdy it is, see there are certain caps. So I can only have 350 dexterity. So I have to be, careful, as sure I can get this amazing vessel, but it doesn't help me if my vessel has so much in one stats that I hit my cap, right? So you just got to kind of be smart. That's that min-maxing that I'm really excited that people with Crowfall it really is going to be a min-maxer. It's going to be a theory crafter's playground. Those are my stats points. Now in my talents, they gave me 2 talent points to spend. So now I actually can choose And by choosing that, I actually have new powers to put on my bar. See, Flint Shock. So now I actually have 2 attacks. I have my basic combat attack. So if you take a look, now besides the stabby, I also can shoot the 1 key and shoot the pistol, right? So that's the whole concept of leveling. Not only are you leveling your vessel, you're also increasing your choices related to your skills, etc. So again, it will take you some time to learn how you want to min-max your character. So can you level vessel if you are capped at level 30 already? Well, you can't level that vessel, but remember, you can have multiple characters. In Crowfall, it's exciting because all those character slots use the same passive training. So here, if you take a look, in God's Reach, I have a level 30 duelist. Now, he is a level 30 on a white vessel, which is the free gift vessel. Here is a level 2 duelist. That's the one on the new vessel that I have. Now, all these guys have the same passive training, but each of them have different individual training. So if this duelist, I wanted to be a specialist and use 2 pistols, I can use my passive training, and then I can use active training and choices on this character's choices for skills, etc. So let's say you have a level 30 in a white vessel. He's probably at 160 dex and 100 int and whatever. You get an amazing purple or orange vessel. It's going to start out at the same stats that you've maxed that other one in. Now, all your passive training, you can take the gear from that one. You can swap it out to hold it in another way. So, but yeah, you'll have to re-level that vessel. You'll have to re-choose your training pieces. I make it sound interchangeable, and it is, but back to how we normal play a game, do I want to take all that time and re-level that vessel when I'm in the middle of a campaign? My guild needs me. I need to be there guarding the castle. I need to be out there attacking caravans. Do I have time to swap out in the middle of all this stuff? Now, luckily you earn character points and stuff. You can sweep to a new character and just level it quickly. Does it have an experience thing or does it level up? It levels up as you do things. The only thing, you can either gather stuff and sacrifice stuff. You get it by killing war tribes. I believe J. Todd and Blair once said that their concept is they want you to be able to level up a character from 1 to 30 in a very short period of time. The reason being is it's not fun re-leveling. And the reason why they do it, though, is because there needs to be a gateway between people just dropping in amazing vessels at the beginning of a campaign. We want you to earn that over time. You come over here, let me get some more parts. So what's to stop a guild with 72 purple vessels playing against casual guild with 2, but Blue 7, that's absolutely fair. It's a fair question. The difference being is that guild with 72 purple vessels had to work extremely hard to get all that stuff. And again, vessels are one part of it. There's gear and there's skill. So if I think of it as a 3-legged stool. So yeah, the guild with 72 purple vessels are probably going to have statistically a little bit more damage. But if you look at my example, I went from 110 to 200 plus dex, and my basic attack skills went up from 32 to 42 to 36 to 54. The gear, yeah, gear is tough, right? Gear makes a huge difference. If you've got great gear, if you've got a team that's willing to spend the effort and time to create an amazing econ loop, right? Gatherers, crafters, PvPers to protect the gatherers, to protect the crafters. You're going to have, in very specific campaigns, you're going to be doing very well. So here is the parts of a dug up Ganetian. So to fill this in, somebody went to a Ganetian graveyard with a shovel and spent the time to dig up a gooey, smelly, dead Ganetian. And they brought it back to town. So let's say it's either myself, because I have grave digging skills, or I've just bought these body parts from somebody who was out doing it. Crowfall prides itself in the need for interdependencies between crafts. An example, you can't build a bow as a certain type of crafter without getting some parts from some other profession. Just like, an armor smith needs some leatherworking materials to make that armor work. And so it's kind of the same with necromancy. Necromancy takes, well, first of all, I got to have somebody out digging up graves. 2, I need an alchemist. The concept being is I would work with an alchemist out into the world, and they would convert materials that are gathered in game to create what's called, ambrosia. And ambrosia is just used in the crafting mechanic. So let's get a couple of optional parts here. Let me see what eyeballs I would like. So all these parts can be found in game. Certain things will drop things, certain things will, you'll dig them up. I need sprint efficiency because I run away a lot. So the funny part of crafting is they actually make you do the step by step. And this is the table I use to create a vessel. I have to actually go through each step. And so there's a concept of restored arm. So here is an arm, right? So I would take an arm and I would take some ambrosia solution. So here's this arm. It has plus 10, plus 12 on it, but I didn't do a very good job crafting it. This one, now it starts out at plus 11 and plus 13. I choose next. Now, as a crafter who spend a lot of my passive training, not on combat skills, but on crafting skills, I can take this arm and improve it. And so I'm going to say I want to have this thing be as dexterous as you can imagine. I can actually take risks. So here's my skill, 70. Here's the difficulty, risk, added difficulty, 50. So now I'm taking an even chance with a critical risk. So now I'm going to try to move this dexterity from 11, and based on my skills, I can now fine-tune as a crafter. Crafting is no different for necromancy as it is for armor smithing or weaponsmithing. So let me put one together and we'll show you the risks and rewards that Crowfall gives you. There is risk and reward in Crowfall. If you're willing to risk failure, so here's the concept. So here's my choice. I have a skill of assembly of 91. It's 65 difficulty. Create a green vessel. So back to the question on how to equip a vessel. We're going to do another one here real quick. So first things first, I have what's called an account vault. This is account wide to all my characters, but there is some give and take, right? Where I can access this account vault changes. How much I can take out changes based on rule sets. So here, I just placed this vessel in this account vault. So when I log out, I'm going to create a new character. So I have, here's a Ganetian duelist. I'm going to create a new character. When I click on Ganetian, which is what the vessel is, there's my vessel. So back to the question on Hammer Saw, that is where you equip a vessel. When you create a new character, right? I can bring that, everyone has their own vault. So I can say, okay, now I'm going to use this vessel, but I want it to be a cleric. And so now when I have this Ganetian come in, this Ganetian is going to have a different stat profile. He still has all the passive training that Anhrez's account has spent his time and effort to create. But he is now a cleric. Int is important to him. If you noticed when I opened this up as a duelist, his top stat was dex. I still have very high dex because Ganetians come into the game with a lot of dex, and Ganetian body parts by default have a lot of dex in them. Can you max out all the passive training over time? Oh, absolutely. I'm maxed out on a lot of my trainings, but again, that's just part of the test, Hammer. It's going to be much slower over time. Sneakle, can I make vessels and sell them? Oh, no, you can sell them. I sell them all the time. That's how I make my gold in game. The cool part is I actually have one character that does nothing but does alchemy work and creates potions, and another character that does nothing but dig up dead bodies and turn into a necromancer to create vessels. And I just, I sell them. I can sell them in game. The cool part is you can actually create your own vessel for yourself. I can create a vessel, but specific. So if Hammer Saw said, I want a kick-ass centaur champion, I want you to throw everything in strength and everything in stamina. Yeah, I can create that. No, so you don't need a necromancy to dig bodies. You need a profession. So here, everyone can do everything, just everyone can't do everything well. So in this example, for details, for exploration, I can go here into my character and say, hey, here is my grave digging. So you can actually passively train your character. Using necromancy, you can create a new character and have it start with a much higher base skills attributes like dexterity, strength, int, spirit, etc. You get so many character spots, and after that, you need to start clearing them because you have a limited amount of slots, right? So if I want to create a centaur, I can create a centaur. Your centaur comes in with the starter vessel. So anyone got any other questions? I'm just about an hour. That's about all I'm really good for. But I was just curious, anyone have any questions about necromancy from the concept of what you can or can't do with it? Again, unlike other professions where there are bits and pieces that you can do that, so like if you're a weaponsmith, you can create pieces and hand them to somebody else and they can use them. A necromancer, you're pretty much crafting for yourself. Right? It's not like, hey, I cleaned up this Ganetian arm. I'm going to send it to somebody because they need it for something else. It really is one of those professions where, you do a lot of work, you do a lot of the min-maxing, you pretty much you're kind of a dead end as a profession, right? People hand you stuff, you get stuff from other professions, you create something and that's it. If you're a blacksmith, you could create a buckle and hand that buckle to a leathersmith. That leathersmith will take that buckle and then create some armor. We get stuff, necromancers need stuff from alchemists, but we don't half craft something and hand them off. Even the jewel crafter, which is a very similar profession to necromancy, even the jewel crafter can craft a gem and then hand it to some other profession, and that profession will use it to create something else. Right now, necromancy, you don't partially craft anything to hand off to any other professions. I'd love to see that change. I think it would be fun if the more interdependencies were brought into play for necromancers. How to get the Foreman discipload from other loads? Awesome, good question. So right now, they're going to need to end up being, we hope that they're going to be craftable. So long term, we hope that rune crafters will be able to create the actual major discs. So major discs are Foreman, the big ones. Those minor ones are those little triangles. Those can be found in the war plots, war tribes areas right now. So you can go find various things. They're interesting because, if you don't need them, maybe your guild or a friend needs them. If not, you can sell them. So I'm starting to thaw to the concept of war tribes. I'll be honest with you, I was unsure. But right now there is, like Scree is posting, there's an awful lot of changes coming in 5.1.1. So in 5.1.0, there's still a lot of changes from the previous piece, right? I'm still learning about all of the new crafting dependencies and stuff that are in. Yeah, Danger Dan, it's a fair question. Every game hopes that they can reach a critical mass of people who want to play, people who are playing, that create a nice churn. It's not just a mad dish and then it kind of fades off. I'm hoping that because we're going to have different campaign styles, we have both active and passive trainings to do. I'm hoping that it's sticky. Yeah, and like Jean, that's a good point, Jean. I mean, I have people ask me, well, I already feel like I'm too far behind. It doesn't matter. You can jump in now and learn stuff. I don't care. Just because my account vault is full right now, they're going to take it away from me here real soon. So everyone will get reset. All of the passive training will get reset. All of the huge pile of gold and stuff that Anhrez is sitting on is going to be taken away. And when we'll start fresh again and we'll all kind of sprint and get it together. And as since 5.1.1, like Scree's commenting, 5.1.1 has a lot of new and interesting things that we don't really know. And so we're all going to learn it together. And that's pretty exciting. I felt some really good questions in this chat. I hope you guys jump in. I would love to see fresh eyes, fresh questions, ask questions, challenge, why is this, why is that? Because I think it'll make a better game long term. Well, I think I'm going to call it. It's late enough. I need to go out and get some. I need to get some crap done. I need to go work on my own stuff. Yeah, I mean it's becoming really exciting, really interesting. There's a lot of points coming in, and we haven't even got to the polish piece. So I mean it's got a game loop right now. There's actually a campaign going on where people are trying to win it, and that's exciting, right? That moves it slightly beyond just regular testing, where people are actually pushing and pulling on certain mechanics. Well, any ideas if there will be a guild EK? Well, I mean, you build guild EK. I think there are guild buildings. We're looking at guild inventory. It's hard to say about, guild EKs. Someone will just have a huge EK and the guild will just build on it. So, but thanks, Crowfall. Thanks for all the people. Scree, Shaw, Terrakill, thanks for swinging by. Good to see all the new people popping in. I do encourage you, Groovy Octopus. Anyone else, keep looking at the forums. Follow them on Twitter. Crowfall Game. Get into the forums. Create an account. Get it. If you're not signed up for closed beta, for Christ's sakes, at least do that. Whether you're going to jump in right now and buy it, that's a different discussion. Get in on the closed beta. Get that account signed up, because when this game is ready and they're going to start bringing in groups of people, I hope to see you guys all in there. So thanks a lot, all. You guys have a great rest of the day.